it's Toy, and it's time for my Monday video. I'm sorry it's so late, but my computer never wants to cooperate with me when I want it to. This week's topic is gender roles. I read through some of the questions. Some of them, again, I don't know if it's because I'm so new to this and I'm just clueless about a lot of things, but some of them I didn't understand. So I actually have Chase answered some of them. I'm going to read through and answer what I can and what I feel like I have some type of valuable opinion on. And I'll also read to you what he said. So here we go. How important are gender roles to you? That's a hard question, because if you would have asked me 10 months ago, I would say I'd never thought of it. You ask me now, and I can understand why they would be important to some people, but they're still not important to me. In other words, I understand why why trans people feel like they want that distinction, because that's something that they are longing for. It's specifically that distinction, that difference that they feel. I don't know if it's because I'm where I think I'm supposed to be that it doesn't matter to me personally. So Chase said they're important in the sense that he wants a normal male-female relationship with me, and that he wants a traditional household with himself finally in the place where he should have been all along. See, that's what I was saying. Like, I understand why it's important to him. And what I feel I want isn't, there's no reason for me not to have it, it's not being taken away from me, so I don't feel like it's important. That doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm not making a whole lot of sense today. Let me just go on to the next question. Do you think that trans men adopt a traditional masculine role when they transition? I'm going to say, based on my limited experience, yes. Because it's, again, that if everyone was, I'm going to use the word asexual for lack of a better term, but asexual, there would be no difference. There would be nothing that the trans person felt like they were not included with, they were missing, that there would not be that feeling of something lacking, because it wouldn't be. So I do think that they do adopt the traditional, not everybody, I mean, there's always exceptions to the rules, but I think for the most part, yes. Chase says, I will, and I want to. There you go. Do you think trans men reject their femininity, and why? Yes, because that's kind of an odd question, because that's exactly who they aren't. It might be different for, say, a bio man to have feminine traits, and it wouldn't feel like maybe such a big deal to them, but for Chase, I know it's something that has been a thorn in his side all of his life, so if he'd given the opportunity to reject it, hell yeah. He says, yes, because I was never feminine to begin with, and I am not sure it's really a rejection more than just an acknowledgement more than just an acknowledgement that it was never there. Okay. Does our society think that sex is binary? Is gender binary? What about you specifically? Do you think sex or gender are binary? This question was over my head, but not Chase's. He said, sex and gender are binary, and that was my dog burping, by the way. Sex and gender are binary in some senses because they are designed by nature to each have a purpose. A woman to bring children into the world, men to be stronger. There are just natural differences. I'm not sure I know much about those who identify both or none, and not sure what kind of existence it would be like. But to society, there is a need for the distinctions. The problem arises when the state and the government decides what gender you are rather than you having the choice. And if their purpose in the labeling is for legal purposes, really matters. In other words, why does it matter if your driver's license says male or female? So that when the cop's standing there looking at you and the damn thing says male, but you're wearing a dress, he can question you based on his own subjective beliefs about the world in general? I can think of no rational purpose for there to be a distinction. Okay. How important is masculinity in general, and how important does it seem to a trans man? Again, I think that goes with the rejecting femininity. It's what they seek, or what they feel, what they already are. If there wasn't that distinction between femininity and masculinity, they would not feel like, I think, I could be completely wrong, like there was something missing, that there was something wasn't fitting somewhere. So based on my own judgment and my experience, I would say that masculinity is important. Chase said, masculinity is very important to me because it's what I already feel inside. It's more of a feeling than a physical attribute, although it's nice when you can make the outside and the inside match. Do you think trans men would exist if society did not have a binary sex code or such strict gender roles of behavior? I'm not sure I know how to answer that. What did Chase said? Yes, they would exist because they are the wrong gender in their own minds and feelings. Regardless of what society thinks, it is a personal dichotomy that is fought every day, an internal struggle between what you feel and what you see in the mirror. There we go. What does society define as masculine, and do our partners choose to follow that pattern of behavior? Yes, they choose. Well, mine chooses, and I'm not sure that I'm aware of too many others that don't choose to follow that pattern of behavior because that's who they are. That's what they are attempting to get to line up, to get their outsides to line up with what's on the inside, which is that masculinity. So, yes. Do you consider us to be gender variant, and what is the difference between gender variants, T-boys, and transsexual? I have no clue what a T-boy is. So, the difference between sex and gender is who you are versus what parts you have. But, and I emphasize the but, the issue with the use of the terms at all is that there is no world-recognized definition. So whatever it means to one, it may not mean to another. That makes them useless terms since the meanings can never actually be determined. Does it matter? Yes and no. We're labeled by society. The current definitions of sex and gender create an expectation so that people who are not in conformance are then easily identified as different and non-conforming, which means they stick out in a crowd. The reality is that whatever society defines doesn't matter because each person makes a determination about people when they see them, thus perpetuating whatever stereotyping currently exists and leaving very little opportunity for change, unless and until people begin to allow others to define themselves and accept that rather than defining others and forcing compliance. He makes a good point. I will talk to you guys later. You have a great week, and make sure you subscribe, okay? Bye, guys.